Hey guys, how you going? My name is Dom and today I want to get some feedback from you guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make a fixed navigation bar using HTML, CSS and JavaScript, and then from there I want you to tell me where I can improve on this navigation bar. That way you're learning and so am I. So I want to try and encourage some sort of discussion style atmosphere for this. That way we can all take something from this crafted navigation bar. So this will actually be complete freestyle. This is no preparation. I don't know, anything about this. I'm just sort of going in raw, I guess. I'm just coding from scratch and we'll see what actually happens. So let's begin this. I've got this indexed HTML file here, and I've also got in the browser the current state of this HTML document. We have nothing. So let's actually create some HTML. Let's get a basic HTML5 template happening. Now with this, I'm actually going to use a flexbox. So I'm going to have basically two child elements of the body, a nav and a main. And then from there, we're going to use the flexbox to actually lay it out like a fixed navigation setup. So let's give a title of something like fixed navigation by decode. Okay. Now I've also just got an images directory here, images with a logo of decode, and also a CSS directory. So let's just quickly link the CSS. So link CSS, and we'll say CSS/master.css. Let's now create this master CSS file. Okay, master.css. Inside here, I guess we can just begin by resetting the layout. So let's just reset everything. We'll say for every element, we're just going to say box sizing of border box. Okay, and also we'll set the HTML and body to a margin of 0. HTML and body with a margin of 0. Okay, so now let's add a background color to the body tag. So body background of something like a dark gray to see visually what's actually happening. Let's save and refresh this. What do we get? Okay, perfect. So now let's create that navigation and the main element. So we'll say nav and main. Okay, so now I'm going to set the display of the body as a flexbox and then lay out the nav and the main horizontally as a row. So let's just say in the master, body display as flex. We're going to say flex direction as being column. That way they actually get laid out, in a row style. So horizontally. Okay. So now, let's just give a fixed height to the actual nav bar. So down here, let's say nav and give it a height of 50 pixels and also a background of something like red. Okay. Let's also just say for every body child element, so body and then a direct child, this will also just be the nav and the main element in our case. So give it a width of 100%. Okay. Let's now save this and refresh the browser. What do we get? We get that right there. So that'll be the actual fixed navigation bar, I guess. Okay. So now we have to make the main element take up the remaining vertical space. Okay. So we can do this by giving the body and the HTML a height of 100% of the actual visible window. Okay, so let's just give the HTML and body a height of 100%. So now I can use the actual flex grow property to make the main take up the remaining vertical space. So let's just say main and then flex grow and have it as 1. Okay. Let's also give a background color of something like yellow or maybe blue, just for visuals. Let's save this and refresh the browser. And we get that right there. Perfect. Okay. So basically, the actual navigation bar will be in this red section, and the blue section will actually be for it'll be for the main content of the page, all the text, images, and all that sort of stuff. Okay. Now, we're actually going to set the overflow of the main element to auto. That way, if the content overflows, we'll see a navigation. We'll see a scroll bar. Okay, so back inside here, for the main, let's say overflow as being auto or auto, right? Let's save this and also just have some dummy text inside the main tag. Let's say lorem ipsum and do this about 25 times. Let's save and refresh, and what do we get? We get that right there. So what's happening is we're scrolling. However, the actual navigation bar is getting squashed. So I believe by using a flex property known as, let's just see, so flex shrink. If we say flex shrink and then 1, I believe this should disable any shrinking in our case. Let's refresh. Okay, maybe not. Let's give a flex shrink of 0. Try that one. Refresh. There we are. So now, with a flex shrink of 0, we are seeing that the navigation bar is going to keep its height of 50 pixels. If I also now resize window, we see the actual main will keep scrolling, but the nav bar is going to retain its height. Okay, that's the actual effect right there. So now, let's just add some links and a logo and also some fancy JavaScript height resizing. Okay, so let's add the logo for this navigation bar. Back inside here. In the navigation bar element, let's just give a child element of image. This will be the actual logo. Let's say with an ID of logo. Alright, and a source of images /logo.png with an alt text of logo. Alrighty, so now we have to lay out the navigation bar also as a flex box. That way we can actually have like a column layout where we have multiple vertical pillars basically. One for the actual image up to here, or logo up to here, and also one for the actual container of all the actual links. So navigation menu. So let's turn this into a flex box. Let's say nav and then display as a flex. Okay, so now let's just make the image tag. I'll also just refresh this now. That's funny, alright, not good. So let's just make the actual image tag dictate the height of the navigation bar. So whatever the height is of the image tag, let's make that the height of the actual navigation bar. So we can do this by first off just removing the actual height from the nav bar, okay, and also setting a width to the logo. Let's say hashtag logo width of 100 pixels, for example, or maybe 125. Refreshing this gives us this right here. Also not good. What's actually happening here? Let's just go in here and see what's happening. So we get a height of 730. Not good. Not good. Let's display this as an actual block tag. So display as a block. Let's save and refresh. And what happens? The same thing. Okay, interesting. Not too sure what's happening, if I'm honest. what we can try doing is setting a height back to navigation bar. Let's just say a height of 50 pixels again. Refresh this, and we get that. So that's also not good, I don't believe. You know what? Let's get rid of that. And then for the logo, let's say flex shrink as being 0, I believe. And let's give a... Yeah, let's try that first. Save this and refresh the browser. Same thing. Not good, not good. The nav has a height of 730. Why is that? Okay, interesting. You know what? Let's dictate the height of the nav bar using a height on the actual nav bar again. So let's just say height of 50 pixels, okay? And give a height of the logo to be 100%. Let's save this and refresh. That is much better. So now, by changing the height of the actual navigation bar, we can change the height of the actual logo. So that's good. Refresh, okay. So now let's just give some padding to the actual logo. Let's say logo, and then say padding of 10 pixels. We'll just get rid of that right there and refresh the page. That is also not good. You know what? Let's give a padding to the actual navigation bar. Padding of 10 pixels. This should work. Let's refresh. Okay, good. So now we're actually getting somewhere. We have a logo top left that's dictated in terms of height by the actual navigation bar. Okay. So now let's make a container that's going to sit alongside the logo, which will contain all the navigation links. All right. Back inside here. Let's create a new div and call this hashtag nav links container. Inside here, let's create a few anchors. Okay, href hashtag and link number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Let's refresh this, and we get that right there. Okay, sort of, but let's make this logo container a flex grow of 1 to take up the remaining horizontal space, and also align the items to the right and also the center. So back inside here, we can just target the container element, that'll be nav links container, and give it a flex grow of 1. Alrighty. And also maybe a height of 100% also. Okay. Let's give it a background of yellow to see visually what's actually happening. Let's save and refresh. Alright, that's good. That's perfect. Let's now align the items to the center for some vertical alignment. And for, let's refresh this actually. Refresh, we get, that's not good. The item should be aligned. Okay, you know what? It's got to be a flex box. So display as a flex. So now the aligned items will actually work. Let's refresh this. Perfect. So now let's make these links go to the actual right of that container. We're going to say, I believe it's called justify content to flex end. So flex end in this case, flex end means to the right side. Let's save and refresh this. What do we get? Perfect. So now let's add some margins to this to these links. Let's say for these links, so let's target nav links cont, and then the anchor tags, we'll say margin left of 10 pixels, and for the first anchor tag, the first of type, or maybe even first child. So first child, let's give a margin left of 0. Let's save and refresh. Okay, good. Let's just add some basic styling to this whole document, firstly by giving a font family of serif. Okay. Now let's get rid of those background colors. Get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that. Okay. Save and refresh. We have this, okay. Let's give some styling to the anchor tags. Let's say text decoration as being none. You know what? I just realized that's still sans serif. Oh, sorry, that's still serif. So, of course, sans serif. Refresh this. Perfect. Okay. So, back to the actual anchor tags. Let's say text decoration none and give a font size. Actually, am I zoomed in? Let's see. Oh, I was zoomed in. Okay, that's good. That's better. Let's still give a font size of something like 90% and a color of that dark grey once again. Alright, let's add some hover styles. So on hover, let's make the color as being something like maybe a lighter color. So let's say 6, 6, and 6. Save and refresh this. What do we get? We get that. We get that nice little color over there. Okay, looking good. Let's just add a add a shadow for navigation bar. So let's say nav and give it a box shadow of 0, 0, 5, maybe 2 pixels, and then RGBA 0, 0, 0, 0.5. Let's save and refresh this. What do we get? Okay, looking good. Looking good. Alright. Let's add some now basic styling to the actual main element. Let's add some line heights. Let's just say line height of something like 1.6, 1.8, and give some padding of maybe 40 pixels. Let's save and refresh this. So now this looks not bad at all. Okay, looking good. So what I want to do is I actually want to add some JavaScript to change the height of the navigation bar when you scroll down. Okay, so when you scroll, for example, something like maybe 50 pixels, we're going to make the nav bar have a height of, let's say, 10 pixels less. Alright, so let's do some JavaScript. Back inside here, let's link some JavaScript. Let's just say at the bottom here, script with a source of something like js/navigation.js. Let's create that directory and file right now. So it's called JS and a file of navigation.js. Inside here, let's create an object to contain all this logic. So var navigation equals, you know what, actually, we're going to use a const, okay, ES6 style. Let's say const and then navigation equals an object, okay. Inside here, let's create an init function. So an initialization function. And down here, we're going to say window.addEventListener load. So on load, we want to say navigation dot. Actually, let's create an arrow function here. An arrow function and just say navigation dot init. Okay, let's just console.log 0 for testing. Let's save and refresh this. We get 0 right there. Perfect. Okay, so this init function is being called on page load. So let's first create some references to the main and the nav element. So main and nav. Let's say navbar. The navbar is equal to let's just say document.getElements by tag name and say nav at index 0. And that'll be the first element with a tag of nav. Okay? For the main, so let's just say main content, the same thing. We have main inside there instead. So by main, the first one right there. Let's just now save and refresh the browser and then check out the actual references. Let's just say navigation, press enter, and we get the main and the nav references right there. Perfect. Okay, so now we're going to add a scroll listener that says basically when the scroll of the actual main content goes over, let's just say 25 pixels down, make the navbar a height of 10 pixels less, or I guess that'll be 40 pixels in this case. Okay, so inside here, let's say main content dot add event listener. So on scroll, okay, we're going to call this function. This will say console.log and then this dot main content dot scroll y. I believe that is that a thing? Dot scroll. Oh, sorry, scroll height. Okay. Actually, no. It is scroll y, isn't it? Let's try again. Scroll y. Alright. Let's save and refresh this. Undefined. Interesting. Let's search Google here. So scroll y on element. Element.scroll top. Ah, okay. There we go. Scroll top. So scroll top. Let's try again. Save and refresh. There we go. So now we have the amount of pixels the element has been scrolled down. So about here looks good, right? So about 100 pixels down, okay, I want to make the actual navigation bar 10 pixels less in height. So let's do this. Let's say if this dot main content dot what was it? Scroll top, okay, dot scroll top is greater than 100 pixels, then we'll say this dot navbar dot style dot height will be equal to let's just say 40 pixels for now, right? Otherwise, if it's less than that, let's get rid of that property. If we just say null here, I believe that'll work. Let's save and refresh, see what happens. Refresh. Okay. It works. Okay, perfect. However, this is an absolute value. Ideally, want to actually use the property without using a absolute value. So we actually want to get the height of navigation bar and then minus 10 pixels from that. Okay, make it more maintainable and I guess better code quality. So I believe if I was to just console.log and just say navigation.e dot navbar, so navbar, then say dot scroll height. I think scroll height gives 50. So that's the actual height of the element. If I was to then just scroll down, it should be now 40. Okay, perfect. So now let's get this value and then minus 10 off that. So instead of an absolute value here, let's just say the height will be this dot navbar dot scroll height minus 10 and then plus px onto the end of that. So now saving and refreshing, we should see the same result, hopefully. Let's scroll down That's not good at all. I think here, if we were to actually just wrap this in parentheses, this should work. So we have 40 and then plus px. Let's try again, refresh. Same thing. Okay, that's not good. I guess what we can do is we actually just we can just console.log and log out this value. Let's refresh. What do we get? 40 pixels. That doesn't make sense, does it? At all. That's not good. What's happening there? Oh, what's this? Interesting. Okay. I'm confused by this. This should work, shouldn't it? Let's try again. And scroll down. Okay, let's go on this right here. See what's happening here. Height of 10. Ah, of course. So, okay. Basically, yeah, okay. So it's minusing 10 all the time consecutively. So it's going 40 minus 10, 30 minus 10, 20 minus 10. So how do we actually fix that? I guess what we can do, we can probably get the height of the navbar before this event listener gets added. So let's just say initial nav heights as 0 for now, right? Actually, let's make this the actual property. The scroll height, right? Let's remember that value. So now, inside here, we can now just say initial nav height minus 10 plus px. So this will always be 50, right? 50 all the time. So height will be 50 minus 10. Let's try one last time, hopefully. Refresh. Okay, it's not good, it's not good. Of course, so this isn't defined yet. Let's put this code inside the actual init function. Nav height as being that right there. Okay, so now we are all good, hopefully. Alright, refresh this. Try one last time. There we go, perfect. Okay, so now we're having the consistent effect. If I was to make this navigation bar something like 100 pixels, it's always gonna make that still 10 pixels less when you scroll down. Alright, perfect. Okay. Go back to 50 here. Alright, let's just add an animation to this, right? Let's just say transition on the navbar for height 0.5 seconds. Actually, maybe 0.25. Let's save and refresh. Alright, let's scroll down. Animation, boom, right there. Alright, so this turned out to be quite well. I have tried this before using Flex, but you know, I wanted to sort of make a video on this and get a sort of interactive experience with this from scratch. And of course, leave your comments where I can improve and just discuss, guys. Alright, and that's how you can make a fixed navigation bar using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Alright, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.